Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are analyzing the Anandamaya Kosha, and Anandamaya Kosha pervades all other koshas, both in the waking state and the dream state and the deep sleep state, and it is Pratibimba Ananda. Therefore, it is a reflection of the Ananda. So, we have reflection of the existence and the reflection of the consciousness. Now we are talking about the reflection of an Ananda aspect. So, the Ananda aspect gets reflected only when the mind is calm and quiet. In that state only, as long as the mind is calm and quiet, no more longing mind, no more wanting mind, no more desiring mind, at that instances the reflection of happiness also comes. So the intensity of happiness and the frequency of the happiness, all that depends upon how intense my mind is calm and serene and peaceful. And the one who has a peaceful mind is the one who is a happy mind. And this happiness sometimes one can gain by practicing, by chagayanake amritatvamanasu, by giving up all my desires, because I don't need them, I'm happy with whatever I have. In that case, there is no more longing mind. I am contented or self-contented, therefore I find happiness, therefore I have given up all that. Therefore, even in Taittiriya Upanishad, in the talks about different levels of happiness, that each one Ananda is 100 times the other people Ananda, in the hierarchy of Ananda, it states, Sotriyasya akamayatasya. So, same Ananda can be gained by gaining objects, as one case, and also one who gets the same happiness is Sotriyasya akamayatasya, the one who is Sotriya, that means the one who knows this Vedanta, that means who understood the happiness is coming from my own self, and who understood that the happiness doesn't depend upon the objects. Sotriyasya akamayatasya, the one who therefore is not desiring for happiness. Not that I don't know, therefore I am not desiring, as in the deep sleep state. Nakanchana kamam kamayata. That's how the deep sleep state, the the Upanishad defines the deep sleep state where I have no object for desire. Because not that I am a sage there, because there are no objects that I can see. So therefore the desirelessness, kanchana kamam kamayata, that is not due to absence of the object. Even when the presence of the object also, I have no desire for it, because I am not interested in that. So when people ask me, are you interested in that? Let's go here, let's go there. Let's say, I have no interest, because I don't get any extra happiness by going around there. Therefore, I am happy with whatever I have. That kind is what is called Sotriyasya akamayatasya, the one who is not longing for anything for him to be happy. If it comes, okay. If it doesn't come also is okay. So therefore, he is contented with what he is. So he himself doesn't make any effort by himself to gain something or to go somewhere. And if he has to go, he will go. If he has to gain, if he has to get, he will get it. If it comes, it comes. If it goes also, it is okay with him, because his happiness doesn't depend upon the object coming and going. So the one who has Sotriyasya akamayatasya tasya anandaha is also of the same type as one gets by fulfilling the objects. This is there, statement is there in every level. The one who has given up all that below also equally happy. He may have desires of higher level. But the one who has the highest Ananda is the one who has everything. There is nothing more for him to go, and that means everything is nothing but Brahman. So that means he knows that I am Brahman. Not that I am going to get Brahman. I cannot get Brahman because I cannot get infinity. So but longing to gain happiness is not always there. That means unless I am happy, or I am Brahman has to be, so Brahmatmaikatva bodhena. So understanding that I am Atma, that Atma I am is Brahman, is the Samyak Jnanam, is a clear understanding. So this is what, therefore, all are reflected happiness depends upon my punya, and papa is nothing but agitations in the mind. Whenever the mind is agitated, my mind is restless, that means I am having a papam, or I am experiencing the papam. So in the Mukunda Mala, Kulasekar Alvar says the whole thing is due to my karma only. Therefore, there is no point for me to asking you, please increase my happiness, give away a lot of things. He says, because whatever I give, whatever according to my karma, I will be getting. But what I want is only your presence. Therefore, all I desire is your presence only. That is the prayer of the Mukundamala author. This is the Kulashekar Alvar. Therefore, what he wants is only Krishna. Krishna means the one who attracts. The one attracts is Ananda only. So Ananda Swarupam is Krishna Swarupam, and that's what he wants essentially. So here all other is modifications. Now we are talking about a little bit more at the in Karana Sarira, and the Karana Sarira is also reflection where there is no other koshas there in terms of the waking state and so on, and even the buddhi is folded, and therefore pure Anandamaya kosha alone is there in the deep sleep state, and that's what is essentially is described in this sloka 210. Anandamaya koshasya sushuptes spurtirutkata swapna jagarayoho ishadishta sandarshanadina. So in the sloka 210 says Anandamaya koshasya sushuptau spurtirutkata swapna jagarayoho ishadishta sandarshanadina. So in the swapna and jagara yoho, in the states of the waking state and the dream state, and I am happy only when ishta sandarshanam, isha ishta sandarshanadina, when I gain something I desire. So in those states of waking state and the dream state, talking about Ajnani, because he is desiring for something, that means he thinks that I am not happy by myself, therefore I want that for my happiness, and I want this, I want that. So whole rat race is because of that. Therefore he is longing for it, and he gets happiness momentarily when I get that. So what's wrong with it? As long as I'm happy, that's what I'm looking for. And what's wrong with going after objects, sense objects, as long as I'm happy? But there is a problem. Problem is called doshatrayam. There are three defects in gaining happiness from these three, from outside. What are the three defects? It's a defectful of happiness. This is called reflected happiness through the desires. Is like pouring water, pouring ghee into the fire to put out the fire. It will only become more blazing only. Or pouring petrol into the fire to put out the fire. How? It is essentially is talking about the three defects are there. It is essentially, it is dukkha misritatvam. Dukkha misritatvam means it is mixed with always, all this happiness is mixed with dukkham. It mixed with suffering. Why? Because it's a problem in getting it. So I want a desired object. I have to struggle to get the desired object. So there is a struggling involved in gaining the object. So in gaining object is only for my happiness. So in gaining that so-called reflected happiness fulfilled by the desire, there is a struggle involved. And the struggle itself is agitations in the mind, which is papam or which is suffering. So there is a problem involved in getting it. And the problem involved in preserving what I got. So I want $1 million. I struggled whole life to get that, and when I get the $1 million, then I feel that there are many people who want that money, and I am now having a problem in protecting whether I should put it in the bank, whether I should invest there, and investments are going up and down and fluctuating, so I may lose all the money also. All that worries is preserving the wealth. So wealth I need for security. Now I am very worried about the security of the wealth. Therefore this is the problem. Therefore it is the dukkha mishritatvam is always mixed in gaining it, in preserving it, and if I lose it, also there is a problem. So in all that there is a suffering involved. Therefore it is mixed with dukkham. And also the second, that's all one defect. The second defect is asamtruptikaram. Asamtruptikaram is I am not happy. I thought I am going to be happy when I get the object, but when I get the object, I see everybody has that object. So now I want some more. So I didn't have $1 million. Now I went for work hard so much, and somehow I got $1 million. Then I see everybody is a millionaire, and everybody is looking for higher standard of life is different. Standard of living is also expenses different. I moved out to a higher place. Now I need more money to maintain myself. This struggle goes on. Therefore, it is always involved asantrupti. Always there is no trupti there because there is no contentment. Contentment is not there because it is desakala vastu parichinnatvam. It is limited by space, it is limited by time, and limited by object wise, because $1 million is not 2 million or 1 billion. So therefore there is a limitation in the happiness that I get. So dukkha mishritatvam is the second. And the third defect is, it is essentially bandhakatvam. It makes me to bound to it. That means my happiness depends on that. Whether it can be an object or a person. As long as that object or person is there, I am happy. If the person or object are not there, then I am not happy. So any dependence other than myself then is always a bondage. I become slave to the person or slave to the object, and that's how people start drinking and become, because they get happiness, kicks out of it. They get happiness, but now they depend on it, and unless they have it, they cannot be. They become a restless and miserable life. And same way, all habits of smoking and drinking and drugs, all happiness is essentially make you depend on it. But if I am happy by myself as I am, without depending on anything else, then I am completely full. I cannot be happy with myself unless I am recognized that I am full by myself. That means aham brahmasmi has to be known. So if you look at what is that which is defect free, is nirdoshi, there is no dosha in the Brahman, because there is no defects in the Brahman. Why? Because Brahman is infinite, defect is something other than that, therefore there cannot be anything other than that, and that is pure Brahman, that is Satchidanandam. Therefore, Swapna Jagarayoho Ishadishta Sandarsanadina. So whenever I get the Ishta, the desired object comes, the reflected happiness is expressed in the Anandamaya Kosha. So Anandamaya Kosha expresses itself in the waking state and the dream state whenever the desire is fulfilled. But when the kosha is deep sleep state, there is no object there. Akanchana kamam kamayata. There is no object for me to desire because I cannot see any object. So therefore the mind is full dead. Therefore there it is pure karana sarira, pure ignorance is there. Therefore what is there is the reflection of the consciousness in the Anandamaya Kosha. What is Anandamaya Kosha now? It is all previous kosas folded itself, is agitationless, is mind, is the kosha here, and in which the reflection is occurring. And therefore it says Anandamaya Koshasya Sushuptau Spurti Utkata. It is fully Utkata Spurti. It is fully manifested in the deep sleep state. That is called Anandamaya Kosha in Sushupta, in the deep sleep state. So in the deep sleep state, the expression is bliss. So everybody, whether it is a pauper or a king or a servant or a beggar on the street, when he goes to deep sleep state, he is completely full. completely happy, and that happiness that one gets in the deep sleep state is only due to ignorance reflected, because the body is still there. Antakaranam is the causal body is there. Karana Sarira is there. Karana Sarira is nothing but the vasanas. Vasanas is again due to the activities that I have done because of the ignorance. So ignorance generated karma in unmanifested form at the Vyashti level is the avidya swarupam only, avidya expressing in that form, and in that reflection is occurring, and therefore it is nothing but ignorance generated or reflected happiness only, because the mind is calm and quiet. So everyone is there in the deep sleep state, is completely free, and that Anandamaya Kosha is there in the deep sleep state, and there in the waking state, and there in the dream state. In the waking and dream, only it expresses in terms of the fulfillment of the desires for ajnani. For the jnani, for the ajnani in the deep sleep state, it is pure avidya, therefore it is reflected in the avidya. Now what about the jnani? How does the jnani will feel ananda? Jnani says, I am not this body, mind, and intellect. So my nature is Ananda Swarupam. That expression that my nature is Ananda Swarupam is in the buddhi, because we understand that it is the buddhi that has the avidya. So avidya means ignorance is locust in the buddhi of an individual, vyashti avidya. That's why buddhi wants to become happy by gaining this and gaining that. So the avidya is coming at the antakaranam. That's what we discussed, and that's what Shankara defines in terms of in the 13th chapter of the Gita, Kshetrajnam chapimam viddhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. So the Kshetrajna, the one who is the knower of the Kshetram, the field, is nothing but me. That means Jivatma is nothing but Paramatma. That's the Mahavakya statement, and in that Bhashya on that, Shankara gives exhaustive details about the nature of that Ananda also. Therefore, in the case of the Antakarana as avidya, Antakarana means the inner instrument, which is nothing but buddhi, starting from a buddhi, and buddhi has the ignorance, because it's a buddhi that says I don't know, and it's a buddhi that has to know, and it's a buddhi that says I know now. I know what? Aham Brahmasmi. That knowledge is also in the buddhi only. And for that buddhi, so one has to be careful. So Sakshi Jnanam, Sakshi will know Sakshi. That's what the slokas will come in the later of when we are analyzing the Sakshi. It is only figurative sense Sakshi will know I am a knower, but Sakshi is pure Satchidananda. It is only that part of the total consciousness as though getting reflected in the local buddhi is called Sakshi or Kutastha Chaitanyam. We call it a Sakshi only when there is a Sakshyam. That means when there is a reflecting medium, we say there is an original that is getting reflected. If there is no reflecting medium, there is no question of original versus duplicate there. It's only pure Satchidanandam. So one has to know that it's not the Sakshi that is going to know that I am a Sakshi. Sakshi need not know, because Sakshi is Sakshi only, that is pure consciousness. Only at the Vyavaharika level, and when you say Vyavaharika, we already have a buddhi, and buddhi is the one that has ajnana, and it's the buddhi that needs to know, and the knowledge is also occurring in the buddhi. Therefore, when we say it is in the jnani, when a jnani sleeps, he understood that I am neither a Annamaya Kosha, nor Pranamaya Kosha, nor Vijnanamaya Kosha, not even Anandamaya Kosha. I am pure Sakshi. That knowledge occurring in his buddhi. Now when he goes to deep sleep state, what happens? When he goes to the waking and dream, he is fully contented by himself. Whether things come or not, he may not, he doesn't care. So therefore, he gets whatever joy, and the whole waking world and the dream world becomes a vibhuti, play for him, play for fun, like the grandfather playing with the small child, the marble game. What does grandfather will gain by having a marble? He may pretend with the child, oh, I am losing it, and the child become happy that grandfather is playing, but grandfather is beyond the success in that or the results of the game. because he knows it's only for fun, that to please the child I am playing this game. So therefore it is him playing the marble game, poor Brahman playing that's why it becomes a Leela. From the point of Paramatma, or from the point of Brahman, or from the point of a realized soul, the whole thing is like a drama, and he plays the drama as per the rules. He doesn't go to a fellow suffering, you are not suffering, you are Sachidananda Brahman. He doesn't give a Vedanta talk to him. He gives console him properly and makes him clear. I remember Gurudev's, I was trying to organize like talks, and one lady called me from Atlanta. She says, I am suffering in the hospital and I would like Swamiji to talk to me. I'll be peaceful and all that. And she gave us she's in the hospital in the bed, and she wants to talk to Swamiji. So I tried to find out where Swamiji is. Swamiji was in Hong Kong at that time, and completely different time schedule and all that. But I can't even talk to Swamiji directly. So I left a message to the host saying that some patient is there, her name is so and so. She's in the hospital and she would like Swamiji to talk to her, to console her. And believe it or not, Swamiji called in the middle of the night and talked to her, made her peaceful, and she recovered also. And she was so happy that Swamiji called, and herself mind became calm and quiet, and in the process she got relief also. So where Jnani, when he talks about at the level, he talks in such a way that to console the Jivatma who is in the avidya. So wherever, in whatever state, he understands that because he went through all the same thing. Therefore, Jnani doesn't go and preach that, when people are suffering, this all suffering is mithya and all that. He consoles whatever required. Only when the mind is calm and ready to learn, then he can approach the teacher for, please teach me what is the higher. Then only he will start teaching. And that is what Vedanta is. So we will go into more details about the deep sleep state, and then go through what happens when I know I am not this kosha also. With this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti